In today's video, I'm coming at you with some breaking news regarding Tucker Carlson, formerly known as Tucker Carlson, C-A-R-L-Z-Y-N, regarding his relationship with Zyn nicotine pouches. Let's take a watch.
We've got some nicotine pouches right here. My friend Tucker is a big fan, big proponent.
Yes.
And I have some questions for you. You can either answer the question or you can take one of these nicotine pouches. Which would you like to play?
Well, I'm going through a period of transition in my life with nicotine pouches. I've used a certain brand. I'm embarrassed to say it. It's made by a huge company, huge donors to Kamala Harris. I'm not going to use that brand anymore. I mean, I think it's fine. It's good for like your girlfriend or whatever, but I don't think men should use that brand. It starts with a Z. And we're launching our own brand today called ALP. And
Okay, so let's break this video down piece by piece. The first question is, do the boys need to abandon Zyn? That's the first thing. The second question is, well, I don't think this is a question. This is a fact. Tucker Carlson is a marketing genius, even in the language he used here in regard to his new logo on his product and everything. But we'll dive into that in a little bit when we take a look at the ALP pouches pre-launch. We're going to look at the website and stuff. But Did Philip Morris or Swedish Match make major campaign contributions to Kamala Harris's campaign? That's the first question that we have to ask. Is this factual? Now, I want to say something. I took a look at previous literature out there regarding Philip Morris's and Swedish Match's campaign contribution track record, because all of that stuff is public knowledge. And the reality is the only thing that could really be found was at one point an employee of Swedish Match made a $25 donation to the Harris campaign. So that's not like a massive contribution, and I think that was back in 2024. Now, when you look at the donation history of Philip Morris International, PMI, what you're going to pull up in 2024 was they gave $358,000 to Republicans and $158,000 to Democrats. Okay. And typically throughout their campaign donations, it's always leaned much heavier Republican than it has Democrat. In 2024, Swedish Match, the company that's now owned by Philip Morris International, gave $45,500 to Republicans and $18,000 to Democrats. Going back to 2020, 2022, it was primarily supporting the Republican Party. So I'm not really sure where Tucker's getting this information from. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm reporting numbers that are relating back to 2024 in previous years. Obviously, we're in 2025. So Tucker Carlson might be privy to some information that has not yet been released related to Philip Morris International's or Swedish Match's campaign contributions for the 2025 cycle. Now, let's say they did make a major contribution to Kamala Harris, which at the moment cannot be found anywhere online. Like, that does not appear to be true at all at the moment. But again, Tucker Carlson might have information that we don't. Why would they do that? Well, my theory is that Zyn is growing at such a fast rate. It's actually taking a similar trajectory to vaping. I don't know. It might have even surpassed the rate of growth with vaping. And you're going to start seeing it being used by a lot of youth, younger people. They have the good flavors. They have the fancy marketing. And my guess is that politically, Swedish Match and Philip Morris have to make strategic contributions as to not be sued to an oblivion when the lawsuits start hitting regarding Zyn and youth, just like we saw with Juul, just like we saw with vaping and all of that stuff. Now, even after the lawsuits wash out, Philip Morris will still be fine. They're a huge tobacco conglomerate. They got plenty of money to withstand these lawsuits, but they have to plan ahead. And if, this is all hypothetical, if Tucker Carlson is right and Philip Morris or Swedish Match has been making donations to the Harris campaign, I would just think their thought process is that they believe that the Harris campaign is going to take presidency in 2025, okay? And this is not political opinion. This is just my hypothesis on stuff. So whoever they're donating more money to, I would think is just strictly out of strategic purposes versus their preference for one candidate over another, right? Tobacco companies are just trying to survive, and they're going to throw money wherever they need to throw it to survive. And it's interesting because what I've seen over the years, actually, if we look at Chuck Schumer and his attack against Zen, I've actually seen Democrats coming harder at nicotine pouches than I have Republicans. And you can see this even in past elections and past things. Democrats tend to come harder at tobacco products than you do Republicans. So just interesting observations that I have, having been in this space for quite some time when it comes to nicotine addiction and tobacco and stuff like that. Now, the second part to this is Tucker Carlson is a marketing genius. So he talked about launching his own brand, which I'm sure he's been working on for a long time. I'm shocked he didn't do this sooner. But if he's watching this, I have some very specific questions for him. The first one being is, where are you going to have these pouches manufactured? In the US, in Sweden, or in China? Because a lot of the pouches come out of China. And with Tucker Carlson's staunch stance on China, I think it would be disappointing to see him having these manufactured in China. Now, one of the other brands out there that I actually don't bash all that often, and I'm going to make a video about in the future, is called Lucy. They used to have their pouches made in Sweden, but they had to move their manufacturing to China, and they openly state that on their website because Sweden couldn't keep up with the demand for their pouches. So I'll be really curious to see, where's Tucker Carlson having these manufactured? The next thing I'm going to be curious to see is, what type of nicotine is Tucker Carlson going to use in his ALP nicotine pouches, ALP nicotine pouches? You can check out pre-order at alppouch.com, which he has like a very, like he's got a cowboy on the front of it. It's a very manly looking logo, okay? Like, which is interesting when he said Zyn, probably good for your girlfriend. This is definitely more appealing as far as I'm concerned, as someone who used to chew tobacco and dip. This is really interesting to me, this logo. I think it's genius, actually. Now, going off topic, what type of nicotine is he going to use? Now, if we look at this, a lot of people don't know this. There's different forms of nicotine used in these pouches. Zyn is kind of unique in that they use something called nicotine bitartrate, bitartrate. Okay, most pouches, most forms of other nicotine replacement therapy, which Zyn is not, pouches are not that, but like your chewing gums, your patches, things like that, they use nicotine Polacrlex, Polacrlex. These are two very different things, and this is why I think Zyn has been so successful, because they use this bitartrate, or however you pronounce it. This nicotine salt is absorbed faster and it hits harder than your traditional nicotine Polacrlex, which is found in products like Lucy and other nicotine pouches. That form of nicotine, the one that starts with a P, it's a slower, more controlled release form of nicotine, and it stays in your system a little bit longer. The nicotine found in Zyn hits you harder and it exits your system faster, or I should say the peak of when the nicotine hits you is faster. So it leaves the consumer coming back for more. This is why people are popping in Zyns just like nonstop all day long, even compared to some of the other brand pouches, even compared to a chewing tobacco, which typically contains freebase nicotine. So I'd be really curious to see, one, is Tucker Carlson going to have these pouches manufactured in China, or is he going to have them manufactured in Sweden or somewhere like the US, somewhere that's not China? And what form of nicotine is it that he's using? Now, I'm really curious to see if he's going to have regulatory body issues. So like from the FDA and stuff like that, especially if the Democratic Party takes office and he launches his brand. Remember, the FDA being under the control of the government. I bet they're going to sick the FDA on his brand. And this is fascinating because Outlaw Dip, another very popular YouTuber, had his own brand of nicotine products that were doing very, very well. And now he has products that don't contain any nicotine because the FDA kept hitting him with, I don't know, lawsuits or warnings or things like that, basically saying, hey, you're operating as a tobacco product and you can't do this unless you pay us a ton of money. Now, Tucker Carlson, if the FDA comes down on him, definitely, I would assume, has the financial backing to make those payments and go through the process with the FDA to be registered under a tobacco, under the Bureau of Firearms, Tobacco, whatever it is. But depending on who gets into office, I think could wind up being a major headache for Tucker Carlson's brand of nicotine pouches. And I wonder if he's already thought ahead about that or if he's watching this video and that's going to give him a thought. On the same note, I would love to interview Tucker Carlson regarding nicotine and the benefits of nicotine and his love of nicotine on this channel. So if anyone knows him or they know how to get in contact with him, I would love to talk to him. And it's not to bash nicotine. It's not to praise nicotine. I want to know about his brand. I want to know about his views on nicotine. I want to know where he gets his information from. I want to have a conversation about points that we agree on and we disagree on. And I think it'd be an awesome video for this channel. Although I would never promote or make a nicotine product or anything like that, I don't actually see a problem with this ethically on Tucker Carlson's part. I mean, I see a problem with selling people something that's addictive, period. But going back to this, I don't see a problem with him ethically doing so because he loves nicotine. He believes in the benefits of nicotine. And I understand that. I get it. He's making a product that he's very, very passionate about. And he's now sharing that product with his followers, his consumers, and his majority. I just would hope that he's going to come out with some facts regarding Zin's donation history, because that's a very polarizing comment. And to do that, to build clout for your own brand, I don't really respect that. I don't respect that form of marketing if it's built on lies. That would be my thing there. I don't mind that it's nicotine. I don't mind that he's making his own pouch. I think it's genius, right? I'm an influencer. I help people quit. I make a chewing gum, Kick It Crave Less chewing gum. I'll link it in the pinned comment. It's nicotine-free, stimulant-free. It contains KSM-66 ashwagandha and N-acetylcysteine. KSM-66 clinically shown to help with testosterone production, clinically shown to help with focus, clinically shown to help reduce stress and anxiety. N-acetylcysteine designed to help reduce cravings, also shown in Reddit forums and other things to be good at COVID, helping with lung function and COVID prevention, all that stuff. Very similar benefits to nicotine that my gum has, but it's nicotine free, okay? Addiction free, okay? So I get having an audience and being passionate about something and wanting to share and sell that something to your audience. I just don't know if I like the way that he's going about it. But we'll see what the future holds for these ELP pouches. I'll be really curious to see if he has more information regarding the 2025 donation patterns of Philip Morris International and Sweetest Match, because right now that appears to be a lie. But again, I don't have all the facts regarding 2025, and maybe he knows something I don't. This man is a genius when it comes to marketing. I wonder how long he's been building this up for, kind of putting himself in this position as like a nicotine god and a nicotine spokesperson among the boys. Because if he's been planning this for like a year, 2-3 years now, that's I can't deny the genius in that marketing. That's something I would do. Check out our chewing gum product if you're trying to quit. It's a great alternative to Zyn and nicotine out there. Check that out. Nicotine free, stimulant free.